Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. The black community has to address this issue. And if y'all wondering what issue it is, of course it's a relationship issue. Because if we're talking about a community, right, the basic building block of any community is the family. You know, as a Ghanaian proverb would say, you know, the ruin of a nation lies in its homes, in the home. Something like that, right? So if you want to look at why stuff is falling apart, you have to look at the family. If we honestly want to take an honest look at why the key to the black family, the community, and why we have the hell we do, it's in the family. And then if we're saying, okay, why is the family so jacked up? Then we have to look at the mating choices, right? Now, this is why this issue is very simple. Because I had someone comment on my last video and it's come up. In fact, the very first video that I had, even though I had a few before that really took off for me, was talking about the effect on rejection on good black men, right? Now, here's the scenario. This is the issue. You have a lot of men who, they work hard, they get their degrees, they stay out of trouble and everything. But many women don't want them when they're building their stuff, or even if they got something going on, especially when they're younger. These guys get called corny, they get called lame. They're not fun because they're more serious minded, they're more stable. One thing about stability, and one thing about the ability to get an education or to build your skill set in order to make money, it's not an exciting process. It's a boring process. It's a stable when consistency is actually boring, So the type of guy who has that type of personality, who could stick it out, who could stay in school, who can go through that apprenticeship program, they ain't not necessarily going to be the life of the party. Of course, there are exceptions, but for the most part, they're going to be solid individuals. Not to say they totally boring, but not the excitement that many young women are looking for, right? So, basically you have a critical mass of black men who aren't cool when they're young. And the funny thing is, it's not even about looks, because some of them, women will say, well, yeah, they handsome, but don't have that extra oomph, that swag or whatever, right? But see, here's where the problem comes in further. When the women get older and they have baggage from dealing with the knuckleheads, or the guys who not going to take them seriously. They have emotional baggage. I know women now in their 40s and 50s who got emotional baggage from stuff that's happened to them as teenagers, or their dealings with some of the knucklehead dudes. And this is women who live in the hood, and these are women who've been on college campuses. Because, and I've said this before, shoot, you got just as many players on a college campus as you do in the hood, right? So, but, women that deal with the guys that aren't taking them seriously or not trying to really build with them. And then when the woman has a couple kids, or, they're not at the same level of attraction, then they're looking for that dude they used to call corny or lame to take care of them. It's a common theme. It is a common theme. And it's not a new theme. People think some stuff is new or something, but no. There's a book, and I'm going to do a review of this book in a few weeks. I just ordered it again. I had it before, sold the copy, and I'm going to do it again. It's called Crises in Black Sexual Politics. This book was published in 1989, and it said basically what I just said. It said the women go for the flashier guy when they're little, when they're younger, and then the more steady guy when they're older, right? And it was actually, it wasn't like, that wasn't the subject of the book, but there was an essay in there. And to understand about that particular book, one, it was published in 1989, which means the information for it was gathered before that. This is before the 90s. This is kind of, we can't blame Oprah on this one. So this was already a community problem. Oprah wasn't as big. She was probably, at that time, probably on the same level as Jerry Springer now. So she wasn't like Oprah. So we can't blame it on that. But these were the same issues, right? Same exact issues. And we have to deal with it. We have to deal with the choice. Now, other people have advocated arranged marriages, stuff like that, and people may say, "Oh, that's crazy." But one thing, if we realize that any community, the base is the family. In fact, the base of a nation is a family. A nation isn't really a political entity. A nation is a collection of clans, and those clans started with wombs. It starts with the family, because what happens is you get families. Like, you could build a whole community. If you have a community, say somebody built some planned community somewhere. It has 50 houses. All 50 of them have 50 intact black families. Like, no loose people around to start in trouble, and everybody, gainfully employed, everything solid. All the tools they need to build it. You'll have a great community, because that would actually spread. Right? And in fact, you could even see that in many neighborhoods where families are more intact, where fathers are more there, the family, 2-parent households, always more intact. But then if we really want to address those, we address all this other stuff, and we talk about all this other stuff. But any real solution in the black community going to come from the family. And I've always said that. That's one of the reasons I do this. People think I'm here just about some game. Nah. This just providing men tools to actually not just navigate women, but for those who want to build something. Now, see, and I know there's a big problem, because a lot of men don't have incentive to marry. And people got to say, oh, wait, this is an issue. And of course, you have some people try to browbeat them, say, oh, yeah, a real man would take care of those 4 kids by, that woman got 4 kids by 4 other men and stuff. That's some bullshit. Because now here's the issue with that. Because y'all know one of my favorite sayings is fair exchange is no robbery. If that woman bringing 2 kids to it, no man should be expected to take care of that woman. It's just that simple. No man should be expected, unless he's bringing a kid to the relationship. Fair exchange. If he's bringing some kids, fine. Like, I know a lot of dudes out here against single parents and all of that. See, I don't have a problem with a single mother, because I'm bringing 2 kids. So, fair exchange. And people know me, I don't ask like single women to date me. I don't ask. If you don't have kids, I don't ask you to say, oh, yeah, you got to come into us. If you want to, fine, but I don't ask you to. Fair exchange. But you got a lot of men out here who don't have kids. They did the right thing. They didn't have kids out of wedlock. They did what society, any reasonable culture would do. They got their education. Like most of the world, getting your education, getting your, getting some type of vocation where you making money is respected. But this issue and these men are doing that, but then you asking them to do extra. And see, part of that problem, part of the issue is a lot of times, see, I think some men would take on the responsibility of another man's child. I think they would. Some men do it now. I think they would. But see, here's the issue too. A lot of times the women don't treat them. The women want these dudes to do it, but then treat them like second-class citizens. So unmarried men, single, they ain't gone through it. Don't think they ain't paying attention to what's going on in family court. Don't think they not listening to these dudes who did take on another family or something, or did take on a woman's baggage and didn't, and caught hell behind it. Shoot, we're talking now. We're talking. And seriously, any relationship and I'm noticing when we get these public discussions, not YouTube discussions. I mean, I've been to academic conferences, and I've seen like the stuff that might be on like mainstream TV or something. We're not addressing the issue. We're not addressing that. We're not addressing the choice issue or the decisions made. Because, and I've talked about this before about programming. This ain't no like biological thing. You can start the programming now where it says, look, culturally, this is the type of dude you need to be going for. And like on just a pure physical basis, it ain't really a difference. Like if people say, well, they're ugly and they're handsome or something, please, come on, y'all. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. On just a pure physical basis, there's no real difference. So anyway, we got to address this issue. And like I mentioned, that book, Crises in Black Sexual Politics, I'm gonna do a review of it when it shows up. Because we have to realize, like, look, I'm out here. You know what? This is why I got into relationships to begin with. I ain't come out here to make more players. Yeah, I use certain language because it communicates something. And, anybody who does public speaking know you need to communicate in a way that your audience understands. But shoot, my ultimate thing is about the community. And then, we keep talking about stuff like, well, these men need to come back into the community and clean up and all of that. For what? They don't have a stake in it. Why should they come back in the community and clean up something or do this, and the women in that community don't want to deal with the men? It's just that simple. Because look, I'm gonna hit y'all with some metaphysics. The purpose of a woman is to bring that man into the community. Shoot, he don't have anything tangible. He don't have blood in it. You don't have a kid in that community. And then have him say, come back, be a community eunuch or something. And then have to have, then you get treated like crap. Shit, that don't compute. That does not compute. So anyway, right, we got to address that issue. That's one thing I might do more in 2019 and stuff. Really hit more upon those issues in terms of building. Because that's one of the reasons why I have a woman's channel. It's not really about game or anything like that or people getting over on each other. It's about getting people together who trying to build some shit. Otherwise, to me, really game ain't that complicated anyway. So, anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.